Does your age define you? Well, I'm going to challenge that. It's not age. It's not about age. It's about vitality. Vitality. Vitality is broken down into three things: energy, clarity, and engagement. I'm going to give you a few examples, and then I'm going to define also what vitality is, so that anytime you hear that sentence roll around in your head, oh, I'm just too old for this. It's not about age. It's about vitality. Are you vital to the conversation? Because if you tell your body to do something, it will respond in kind. People that are still today working, speaking, creating, and performing. Angela Bassett, 66. Michelle Yao, 62. Oprah Winfrey, 70. Gloria Steinem, 90. Diana Ross, 80. Isabella Allende, 82. Mae Jemison, astronaut, 67. Vandana Shiva, 71. She's an environmental activist. Helen Mirren, 78. Neil deGrasse Tyson, 65. Magic Johnson, 64. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 77. Stevie Wonder, 74. David Attenborough, 98. Yo-Yo Ma, 69. Dalai Lama, 88. Lionel Richie, 74. Jackie Chan, 70. Vitality is energy, clarity, and engagement. There's a little bit of science behind that. Is muscle declines 3 to 8% per decade if it's untrained. VO2 max declines 10% per decade. It is basically how efficiently your body uses oxygen, and it's one of the biggest indicators of energy and endurance. And our three things: clarity, energy, and engagement. I've been watching the blue zones. The blue zones are 5 areas all around the world that have a concentration of centennials, people that live over 100. And there was this National Geographic guy that went and made a show on Netflix, and he started to interview these people to see what it is that they have in common. And I think what is crucial to this conversation is they are not going to the gym. It's not about, oh, get yourself to the gym. The areas where they were, physical movement and engagement and clarity and being in the conversation was built into their everyday lives. There was a cowboy. The guy was like, why are you still working? You're 100. And he's like, because I want to be a participant in this community in my life. Now, he only worked like 3.5 hours a day. And then the rest of the day, he took off and rest. Our human performance flow: prep, perform, reflect, and rest. He was like hopping up on a horse and doing his routine on the farm. And then he laid in a hammock for a couple of hours, like later in the day in the sun. There's 5 places: Okinawa, Japan; Sardinia, Italy; Aria, Greece; Nicoya Peninsula, Costa Rica; and number 5 was Loma Linda, California. They don't exercise. They move all day. No gyms, no workouts. They walk, they garden, they carry stuff. They live in motion. I remember a different person. This one was being interviewed, and she was in Italy. And she was over 100, but she lived at the top of the hill. And so every day, to see friends, to go to the post office, to go to the grocery, she'd have to walk down that hill. This big hill on this cobblestone road all the way down every day, walking up and down the hill, walking up and down the hill. It might take her a little while, but that was built into her flow, that exercise. Unconscious. Their home cities are designed for movement, connection, and simplicity. They don't rely on willpower. A lot of times when we want to go to the gym, we're relying on willpower versus building that structure into your day. So it's a no-brainer. It's a non-thought. It's just part of your flow. Strong social circles are non-negotiable. They're deeply connected to family, friends, and community, and loneliness is rare. I remember they interviewed another woman in Okinawa who, it was 5 women that had a little circle of friendship, and they didn't have a ton of money, but if one of them got sick, they would all pool their money and they would give it to her to get done whatever they needed to get done. Human beings are better connected. We're stronger, we're more powerful, we have more energy, more clarity, and more engagement. And that is a direct connection to human performance and human connection. They have a strong sense of purpose. I love these words. In Okinawa, it's called Ikigai. I'm probably butchering that word. Ikigai. In Nicoya, it's called Plan de Vida. And they wake up with a reason. Like the 2 questions that I ask you guys to ask yourselves. wake up and say, what do I want and what makes me human? They wake up with a purpose. They regularly downshift stress. In other words, they don't live in the amygdala. The amygdala is this little gland that's about an inch above your ear inside your head, and that activates your fight or flight. And unfortunately, a lot of humans live a good chunk of their lives in that state. And we're just not designed to do that. We're most balanced when we do that: prep, perform, reflect, and rest. Sometimes rest for them was prayer, naps, community time, and just rituals. They don't stay in a constant state of stress. These were the concentrations of people that live in over 100, things they have in common. If you have that conversation running in your head, I'm too old for this, I would challenge you that it's not age, it is vitality. It is staying in the conversation. It's choosing to. It's choosing to stay in the conversation and choosing to stay curious.